I hope you took note of his concluding remarks. You see, when I didn't see Dr. Bashir carrying any paper, I didn't know he would talk this long. But I almost forgot that a hafiz of the Quran can commit any other thing he wants into memory. And if he wants to commit into memory, he can. Dr. Bashir Aliyu Umar, thank you very much for this stimulating lecture. You have talked to us not only on the politics of the two countries, but also on their history and sociology. And I hope it will be the beginning of the interest of all of us to learn more about the subject matter. Please learn more. I was almost in a hurry to usher in our speaker that I didn't recognize a colleague, a friend, a contemporary, a daddy, a scholar of his own right, engineer Bashir Aliyu. Thank you very much for being with us. And he's also knowledgeable in that area. Maybe if you didn't show any sign of fatigue, like many of you didn't show, those who have shown the fatigue have filtered out. I'm sure the rest, you may spend the rest of the night here together with them. So maybe after the lead discussant, we may want to hear a word or two from Engineer Bashir Aliyu. We also, as the presenter was talking, we had the privilege of having in our midst one time gubernatorial candidate of Barr State. Am I right? The person of Brother Muhammad Amir Abdul Qadir. Thank you, Excellency, you are welcome. You know, once they contest for the chair, they are given the title. Now, the discussant is a young scholar in age, but a very mature scholar in scholarship. A lecturer in the Faculty of Law by the University Kano, a legal practitioner, a human rights activist, a student of Islamic law and Islamic politics, and perhaps that's why the organizers found him suitable for this topic. The members of the press in Kano used to give him one appellative, Shahobar Maya. Like I said a fortnight ago regarding Madam Abdullah Bakarti, that when I see him, I always feel proud that I'm associated with him. So is my association with Barrister Bulama Bakarti. I always feel proud that I'm associated with Barrister Bulama Bakarti. Those of you who knew that we took the then President, sitting President Jonathan, to port. It was Bulama that we put. At the time when many people were afraid to even voice out that the government was wrong in one area or another. And we have a young child who led us in the courtroom, and we challenged a sitting president. Brothers and sisters, it's my pleasure to introduce Bulama Barrister.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Amma ba'd, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I will begin like our teacher, Dr. Bashir Aliyu Umar. Allahumma ja'alni khayran mimma yaqulun wa qini sharra ma la ya'lamun wa la ta'khudhni mimma yaqulun. Now, we did learn one very important thing in the MSS through our brothers, and you know, unlike the legal profession, in the MSS you have positive seniority. In the legal profession you have seniority, but I can tell you it is more negative than it is positive. People will only tell you I am a senior when they are late in court and they want to call their matter out of time, but not when they want to assist you. But in the MSS what we have is positive seniority in the sense that the seniors in the MSS are always ready to guide those who come after them, even after they have finished from the university. And one of the things we learned from our seniors in the university is that whenever we observe a lecturer in the university who has some awkward un-Islamic thoughts about a particular issue, we usually invite a scholar to the Islamic political class who will talk on that issue and invite him as a discussant. Our aim is not that he discusses it, but our aim is that he listens to it as a discussant so that he may be educated and his ignorance will go. I will take it that the MSS use that method to bring me here on this topic. Now, you just know that, number one, I can't discuss this topic. I can't do that. It is Iran and Saudi. I do not have any contact or knowledge of either of them. Number two, I cannot discuss a paper or a talk given by Dr. Bashir. Dr. Bashir, I can't just do that. Now, what I will do rather is to summarize for us, for the benefit of those of us who might have missed the PowerPoints in the discussion because of the historical voyage, so that we may have, something concise to get home with. You know, he started on a very good footing, and that was the footing of educating, reminding himself and us that whenever a Muslim talks on any issue, however related it might be to that issue, that Muslim is expected by the Quran and by Allah the Most High, by Islam, to speak justly, to do justice to whatever he does. And that is how we took us through some verses of the glorious Quran. One of them is Quran 4:135, which says, Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu kunu qawwamina bil qisti shuhada'a lillahi walau ala anfusikum aw al walidayni wal aqrabin in yakun ghaniyan aw faqiran fallahu awla bihima fala tattabi'il hawa an ta'dilu wa in tabu aw tu'ridu fa inna Allaha kana bima ta'maluna 'alima. Now, that is a very powerful presentation of justice in the Quran. It tells us all the ramifications of injustice, from love, from hatred, and other things, and tells us to shun from that. It even tells us that you should not do injustice to support a poor person against a rich one. And I think we see that in the parable of Prophet Daud. Someone has $5 billion, another person has 1 million naira, and they come before you as a Muslim. The one who has only 1 million naira says he has $5 billion, and he wants me to give him my only 1 million naira. as a Muslim, the Quran will tell you, then you should ask the person who is in possession of the 5 billion naira to tell you why he wants that 1 million naira. Maybe it is because the other person is indebted to the return of 1 million naira. So it says, don't tell me, no, he has only 1 million, and you are very rich, you should please leave it to him. Because that will be injustice, because you want to support the poor. And that is why it says, إِنْ يَكُنْ غَنِيًّا أَوْ فَقِيرًا فَاللَّهُ أَوْلَى بِهِمَا. Now, the point is, one of the points is that this very verse was posted by the Harvard Law School at the entrance of their library, and they tagged it one of the greatest expressions of justice in history. Harvard Law School was established in 1817, and they usually have unique, extraordinary statements they tag at the entrance of their library, and one of them is this verse. They said there is no sentence in the world that has captured justice the way this verse has captured. Now, I think by this, we should learn, we should be educated, and we should be reminded that whenever we speak, whether it is, on issues, we have personal interest in or not, we as Muslims are enjoined to do justice. Now, he then progresses to tell us his qualifications and why we should listen to him on the topic. And I think one of the qualifications is his contact with both countries. His contact with both ideologies. As a young person, he had contact with Iran, and he read literature from it, from Iran, and even traveled there for educational reasons. And then later, he traveled to Saudi Arabia, and we know his contact with that place. I think that alone would make him qualified to speak on the topic. But not only that, he is a scholar. From the historical points he took us through, one cannot but conclude that he is a scholar in the field we are talking about. And I think our elder brother, Dukawa, was right when he said he is a philosopher. If he would talk on every topic like he talked on this, and this is not his specialization, then he can be tagged as a philosopher. Now, after that, I think the history, I will skip it. We all have had the history, but I think one of the major conclusions is that the difference between Saudi Arabia and Iran, and I should say this, that he was expected to discuss Iran and Saudi Arabia. But some people may think he ended up discussing Shiite and Sunni divide. The only problem is, or challenge is, you cannot discuss the difference between Iran and Saudi without contextualizing it into the religious discourse. And that is what our scholar did. Now, he did tell us that the divide is more political than it is theological. And I can tell you from the word go, the divide between Sunnah and Shia is more political than it is, theological. Of course, the Shiite who later broke up from the Sunni, of course they will tell you they started during Imam Ali. That was one of the submissions of one of the Shiite scholars that testified in the Judicial Commission of Inquiry in Kaduna, that they started at the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because he said, the Prophet says, "Khairul quruni qarni," and the count of Ali radiallahu anhu was the count of the Prophet himself sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he said Shia is the first sect to have been, to emerge in Islam. He didn't know that a sect is a group that broke out from a larger group, and that larger group is the Sunnah. Now, the point is, it was political from that time, and it was political when Iranian revolution took place. Maybe Professor Salishu traveled to Iran, late last year or early this year. And in his discussion with us about his experiences there, he narrated something that will show you that it is really political. The typical Persian Iranian wants to subscribe to Islam, but he wants to retain and eulogize his cultural identities. He doesn't want to part with his culture. And that is why he mixes the Persian culture with Islam and brings out a hybrid of the two. But Sani Show told us that, Professor Sani Show, forgive me, that they were taken on a tour to important or historical places in Iran. And one of the places they were taken to is a mosque. And that mosque bears the name of the eight imams of the Shia. And he said it is the most beautiful, most well-built mosque in the ones he visited. And now he asked them, why is this particularly very important? And they said, in Persian culture, the number 8 is unique. And this imam is the 8th imam. So we made his mosque so unique so that it will reflect our cultural belief of 8 being unique. That is superstition. That when you are born on the 8th day of those month, you are special. That when you are the 8th in your house, number 8 in your house, that is superstition. So they want to mix Islam with that superstition. The recent Hajj stampede also brought out those issues. Because immediately after the stampede, without investigation, Iran was the first country to come out and tell the world that it is the fault of the Saudi Arabian authorities. And that we have told them time and again that all Muslim countries should collectively own this place because it belongs to all Muslims, but the Saudi Arabian authority resists it. Iran will always tell you we should be in control. But Saudi is in control. They want to take it from them. And that is why even amongst the companions of the Prophet, the ones sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, I believe most of them are Persians. They are from Iran originally. Now the point is, it is political. But then, for you to sustain a political, a political divide, a political interest, you will have to have some intellectual, some theological, recipe to sustain that political interest. And that is why the Shia Islam introduces some things into Islam which the Sunnah does not believe in and they cannot come to it. One of the Shia scholars traveled to Saudi Arabia, and I don't know whether it is Madam Bashir, Engineer Bashir that told me that when he returned, he said Shia is everything that is opposite of Sunnah. So if you want to define Shia, you just say, what is Shia? You say the opposite of Sunnah. Now, to sustain that political interest, you have to have some, theological, recipe. And that was why some theories were introduced into Shia. Number one is the, 12 imams. That only those 12 imams are recognized imams in Islam, and that any other person aside of them is not an imam. Even if he had become an imam, he was a fake imam. He reigned, lived and died as a fake imam. And that is how they tell us that the first three of the four rightly guided caliphs, became caliphs against the explicit, express command of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They will tell you in Badr the Prophet clearly says Ali should be the one after him. They will tell you the Prophet says, Man kuntu mawlahu fa aliyu mawlahu. Allahumma wali man walahu wa khazil man khazalahu. To the end of what they will tell you the Prophet said. And they will tell you clearly the Prophet has said Ali should be the one to succeed me. But Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman and Ali conspired to come together and they succeeded the Prophet against the commandment of the Prophet. In fact, they will tell you these three launched a coup against the Prophet immediately after his demise. In fact, some literature from the Shiite school will even tell you they poisoned the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to death. I think Madam Yakubu would tell you this amongst the Shiite scholars in Kano, in Nigeria. Now the point is, so this first issue was introduced. The second issue introduced is that issue of the Mut'a marriage, which is expressly contained in the Iranian constitution, that Mut'a marriage is permitted. And what is Mut'a? They will tell you when you meet a girl and you tell her Mata'atuki, and she says Mata'atuka, you give her a little glory, and then you fix a time period when you will separate, then you have mutual marriage. So it is number one, consent. Number two, some money. Number three, fixing time period. And then I always would ask, what is the difference between that person and a person who goes to Ibedi at Sabongari? He sees a lady, he tells her, I want to sleep with you. She says, I agree, 10,000 naira, we will separate in the morning. Babu consent, Babu Kudi, Babu lokacin rawa. What is the difference between the two? And then the next issue, let me just say we have many other issues. Now, if we have these issues, and the Iranian revolution from the beginning and until today, every Shiite will tell you that what we want is the unity of the Muslims. But it is the Ahlul Sunnah that do not want the unity. Now they will always tell us unity, unity, unity. When the Quran told us to unite, it told us on what platform? وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ. When the Prophet ﷺ tells us that we should unite, he tells us that it is on his sunnah and the sunnah of the Khulafa al-Rashidun. In another, he tells us it is on the book of Allah and the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Now when he tells us come and unite, on what platform? What will be our terms of reference? What will be our right around as our agreement? Now if it's someone who tells you let's come together and unite, but that person's business is to abuse your mother. Could we unite, live in the same room, share everything together, but your business is every morning you will abuse my mother? But it is even more than that, because Aisha radiallahu anha is more than our mother. She is more than our mothers. They will tell you only Salama among the wives of the Prophet was a Shiite. So she is the only one to be exalted, second to Khadija, because Khadija radiallahu anha, demise before the Shiite divide started. If she were alive, maybe she would have supported the other side and they would have said she is also not. Now, you say we unite. We know that Abu Bakr, Umar, and Uthman are the three people that in our beliefs are the people immediately next to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They lived with him, they toiled and boiled with him, they sweated with him and cried with him. They triumphed and went through trials with him. They married from him, he married from them. He advised them and they advised him. He assisted them and they assisted him. And you are telling us these people are bad people. Now if you tell me three of my closest friends are bad, what are you telling about my personality? They say, show me your friend, I will tell you who you are. And if the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, assuming they were, they were non-Muslims when Islam emerged, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam spent 23 years doing what? Doing three things. The Quran tells us, لَقَدْ مَنَّ اللَّهُ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ إِذْ بَعَثَ فِيهِمْ رَسُولًا مِنْ أَنفُسِهِمْ يَتْلُو عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتِهِ. That is number one. وَيُزَكِّيهِمْ وَيُعَلِّمُهُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةَ. The second one is وَيُزَكِّيهِمْ, and he purifies them. They were non-Muslims. The Prophet spent 23 years purifying them, and yet they were only pretending. Can you call the Prophet a success or a failure? A person who spent 23 years purifying 3 people and they were not purified until he died. A teacher who taught 23 people, primary school, and until he died they could not graduate from primary because they cannot finish their doctorate degree. What would you call him? What are you telling us about the Prophet when you tell us they are bad, cruel people, even though the Prophet spent 23 years purifying them? These are the issues. Let's unite on what? Can we unite when you when you challenge the very core of our belief? Nobody would say we say anything bad about any person that is respected by Shiites. If we had wanted, we would say, okay, we believe in all the companions. You believe in only one.